and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Out of dead carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair, the world's lightest wheelchair, is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Out of dead carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Good morning, Jobfather Nation. We have a really interesting show today, which I think has been something that has been a hot topic for a while. We will introduce in just a second, but before that, a reminder that Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and it's live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. Just listen or watch. You can simply go to tuneinjoco.com to choose where and how. Another great news is Joco Community Radio app is available for free on both your Android and iOS devices. Just simply go to your store, search jococommunityradio.com, and download it. Check out our lineup and more on jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Well, before we get started, let's bow our heads for a quick word of prayer. Father God, we are just so honored to be here today, and we just pray, Lord God, you would use our voice and our time to bless the job seeker community and all of us that are going through career transitions. Lord Jesus, open those jobs for us, bless us. And we just pray for the anointing for that job we have, for abundant provision and awesome doors. Thank you for the guest that's spending his time today to help us out. And we surrender our in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Awesome. Well, Foster, introduce our phenomenal guest. I just can't wait till we get started.
Well, can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Perfect. I always like to do my own little sound check. So, guys, before we meet Rusty Wright, that is Rusty Wright right there, that good-looking guy that's with us today. And we've got a couple of really big announcements for landings. So I told the ladies, I said, we've got the T's that landed today. We'll start with Tanya Brown. And Tanya she sent me a quick update. I mean, just probably 5 minutes ago. She's starting on Tuesday. She won't be able to attend South Lake Focus Group next week to say goodbye, but she wanted to say that she landed. But I'm looking at it and it doesn't say where she landed. So Tanya, we are going to contact you and find out where you landed so I can mention it on next week's show. Now, out in Los Angeles, Talia, I hope I'm saying that right, Talia, because I know you're listening, you and a contingent of folks from Los Angeles. But Talia Bluth, Bluth, has landed. She got a new position. She is a director of talent acquisition, guys, at D.D. Hirsch Mental Health Services. D.D. Hirsch.
Awesome.
I said Hirsch. Mental Health Services. And Talia she's going to be the big director, boss, recruiter out there. So, guys, if you see positions at D.D. Hirsch, hey, guess who we're going to contact? So that is part of how this network works. And guys, there is a job that's still open that I want to tell you guys about as well. And since I have been in HR for years and years, I don't want to tell y'all how many years. We need a director of HR that reports to a CHRO, Chief Human Resource Officer. In other words, a top HR person in the company. This company is over in Dallas at the Hope Center over in Plano. It's a wonderful Christian. All the businesses at the Hope Center are Christian businesses, but guys, what they do is put chaplains. It's marketplace chaplains, and they put chaplains in companies all over the world. It's a not for profit, but it's a huge one. I mean, it's a global not for profit. So, guys, the pay is pretty good on this director of HR. So, if you are a director of HR, this position, guys, will be there at the Hope Center because it's a new build. They're doing an all new thing in HR, and it will be on site. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. I'm going to give you my number, 214-728-6930. Let me tell you again, 214-728-6930. That's going to get you Foster Williams. You see this guy right here, this face right here?
You
That's
need
Uncle Lance.
8675309.
Right. That's what's going to be. And then there's another number that the B-52 sang about, but I can't remember what it is right now. But guys, let me tell you my email address. You might want to email me your resume and we can talk. I am foster.williams@sbcglobal.net. Let me tell you again, foster.williams. There's my Foster Williams right there. Just put a dot in between there. At SB as in boy, C as in cat, global.net. And I will get that email and we can talk all about it because the CHRO is a really good friend of mine. Actually, he's a prayer partner of mine. And we can talk about all the ins and outs of that job, that company, and the things that need to be built in that department. It's a really, really cool role. Really, really cool company. I think we got 7 people out of the network that work in marketplace chaplains now. So this thing is working, guys. We make relationships, Dana and I especially, we make relationships with these companies for that purpose. What's the word, Dana? I'm getting close.
Relationship.
There it is. That's what Dana said right there.
Yep. And I was going to say, Foster, if there's anyone listening that needs affordable, quality help with resume, cover letter, and LinkedIn, feel free to reach out to me and Resume Key LLC at dana.gingerich@gmail.com. That's Dana.
How you spell that?
G-I-N. That's GINGERICH, Ginger with an ICH.com. Oh, at gmail.com.
That's right, at Gmail. Ginger ICH. That's what I tell
Ginger
everybody.
ICH is the easiest way to spell my last name.
All right, guys, let's meet Rusty Wright.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is that he says, he's always right. It doesn't matter. So we're going to talk about ChatGPT today. Now, everybody everywhere is talking about ChatGPT. Everybody everywhere is talking about AI. Well, this will be a really, really good conversation today because Rusty's going to tell us some ways that we job seekers can utilize Chat GPT to help us in our job search, especially right now while there is a free version. So, Rusty, I'm going to shut up and let you get started telling us about Chat. Guys, it's GPT. I've heard all I've heard you guys call it all kinds of things, just like you call me Foster Fester, Falstaff, you know. But,
Oh no.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So it is Chat GPT, guys. Okay, this is Rusty Wright. Rusty's gonna be right about it, so y'all better listen to him. Uh-oh, he
All
froze up. There he is.
right.
There he
Well,
is.
Foster, are you guys hearing me okay on that end?
We're hearing you good. We hear you well.
Fantastic. A pleasure to join Foster and Dana today to talk about ChatGPT. In fact, I'm going to expand that definition a little bit beyond ChatGPT to talk about generative AI. So that's going to include things like ChatGPT and also Bard, which is a free tool that the competitor Google has developed and just last week made available very broadly to anyone to be able to use it. I was an early beta tester on Bard, and so I got to play with it for a couple of months, but now anyone can use a version of ChatGPT, or you can use a free version of Bard. The other thing that you can do is use a web browser called Bing from Microsoft. And Bing actually integrates the same GPT transformer that ChatGPT uses. So it kind of combines a web browser that you're used to with Bing and this generative pre-trained transformer that we get with ChatGPT. So all of this to say is this area has just been exploding. And one of the things that I always start off with when I'm talking to a group is to explain that everything that I'm telling you today is going to reflect how the system worked most recently, but because things are changing so quickly, you may also have a so to interact with tools out here, on a basis, sometimes on a daily basis.
Uh-oh, we can't hear you.
Rusty, we're having connection problems, Rusty. I hope you can hear me.
I can.
Oh,
your voice cuts in and out.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting 3 or 4 green bars when I look at my video. Is there anything that I need to do to adjust on my side?
Your video's okay. It's your audio. Do you have a headset?
I can go get a headset real quick if you want me to try that.
I think that'd be good. I think that'd be good. And Dana and I will keep everybody busy. Yeah.
Okay, give me 30 seconds.
No problem.
Got it.
And audience, for those that are listening, and we'll have Rusty explain this a little bit further. There may be a lot of people I had not until recently heard of ChatGPT. And what I wanted to explain what this is, it is an artificial intelligence tool that allows you to verbalize what you would like, and then it will come back and create that. So Rusty, once you get attached, let us know. But I'll give you an example. My friend Hannah had a cover letter she needed created. So she went into ChatGPT, it's free, explained what she wanted, and they put it together for her. And then she sent it over to me to further adjust it. Rusty, are you back real quick? Can you hear? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. Could you do us a favor for the listeners? Because there's going to be a lot of our listeners that have no idea what ChatGPT is. I don't want to interrupt your cadence or the flow of what you're sharing, but can you please give a quick, easy, I gave you an example while you were gone, but just a quick, easy explanation of what this truly is. I'll be honest, I hadn't heard about it until a couple weeks ago. And I ended up, through my business, Resume Key LLC, adjusting some, making some adjustments to both a cover letter and a resume that used ChatGPT to initially generate it.
Boy, we're just technical, all kinds of stuff today, aren't we?
Yeah. We need some artificial intelligence for the software on the show. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we got to
We're
get Dana
blessed.
some headsets too.
Yeah, we're blessed. Okay. He's probably gonna finish with my explanation. ChatGPT, Bard, and Bing can be used to create via artificial intelligence your resume, your cover letter. It can create a lot of documents for you by you explaining what you need, what you want in it, and then it will put it together for you in a professional format. Pretty cool, but it does lack the human eye. So even if you do use a great tool like that, you still need to look at it and tie the loose ends that a human would be able to catch. But it's a really cool tool, and it's becoming more and more talked about on all social media platforms, and especially throughout the talent acquisition and recruiting world. So Foster, you and I didn't work with those tools back when we were actively recruiting outside of leadership. But now there are all of these candidates coming in with resumes and cover letters that have been created by ChatGPT and Bard. And I'm interested in learning more from Rusty on other uses, how it's being used, and how it can impact our users, our listeners' searches for jobs.
Absolutely. We have an influx of a lot of technology guys that can
Yeah.
help Dana and I do our job, but we're not the only ones. There are applications for ChatGPT. We're going to see a lot of spin-offs from the idea, the methodology that has created ChatGPT, and that's us going forward. We are a technical world now. But here's what I want to caution job seekers. Guys, the technology is absolutely wonderful. Rusty will tell you the same thing, but it is still a person with a face like Dana's got right there
Yes.
that hires us. So
Absolutely.
our interpersonal relationships still need to continue. The software can help you find a person, can help you explain what you're looking for, all that sort of thing. But it boils down to those intangibles that get us the job. We are still going to have to connect with people. We're still going to, I'm going to say network and build relationships. I'm going to say that.
For sure. Yes.
But
Yes.
that's the absolute truth. And as we continue with this technology, we will be able to find this and we'll be able to find that a lot quicker. But what we do when we get there is very important.
Yes, it is. And I'll give an example. So my friend that used ChatGPT to create an initial cover letter and resume liked it, but she could still needed some auditing and editing. So she used it to create a foundation, and I was very impressed. It created a great foundation. And then she sent it over to me, and I ended up then taking what the foundation and elevating it from there. And it was a phenomenal foundation. And it honestly made it a lot easier to elevate it. The foundation solid, but it's still mine. And I still needed to go in and look and really make a few adjustments in a couple different areas. Sure that her resume and cover letter sparkled and shined as she's out there in this job search right now, because we all know the market's a little weird. Over a year ago, there was hardly anybody available, and now a year and a half later, there are a lot of people in the job market. But don't feel discouraged. People are getting hired every day, and honestly, Foster, being in the job search myself, I've been actively looking I get so many notifications for job opportunities across areas that I'm not even qualified for. So there
Right,
are
right.
a lot of jobs out there and a lot of people are hiring. You just have to expect to be patient, diligent, and I guess you could say understand if for some reason you don't get that job or you don't get an interview. There's a lot of factors behind the scenes that have nothing to do with you. But guess what? Looks like we have our star back.
Before Rusty gets started, he's still working on some things. It looks. Oh, I can hear him. Yeah,
Yes, Rusty. We were
Rusty, I'm
excited
gonna.
to get a little bit more of an explanation really quick before we get into the details of what
Rusty, I want to
ChatGPT.
read to you. Oh, it's going away. I was going to read. Tiffany, guys, is the reason that we're here, and she is our engineer and owner behind the screen. And so she says ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence chatbot, guys, developed by OpenAI and released in November 2022. The name ChatGPT, y'all get that? GPT combines chat, referring to its chatbot functionality, and GPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It's a type of large language platform. So go ahead, Rusty. Let's talk about Chat GPT. Rusty disappeared again, didn't he?
Well, thank you, Tiffany, for getting that information over to us. Yeah, Tiffany is fabulous. She is very knowledgeable in all things tech. She's good. Rusty back.
Rusty, can you hear us?
Okay.
There
Yeah, I
you
can.
go. You're sounding real clear now.
Let's try it again. Sorry about that, folks. It must be Friday. So great definition in the comments there. As mentioned in the text, yeah, this was introduced in November of last year. In fact, November 30th was the day that it was launched. What I was sharing when we tried to kick things off here is ChatGPT is just one of several tools that have been developing really rapidly, including Bard, as well as different versions of ChatGPT and something called Bing, which is actually a web browser that was introduced by Microsoft. Now, Microsoft is actually a partner. They were an early investor, so to speak, in OpenAI. And through that, they got access to the GPT platform. So when you were using either ChatGPT or you're using Microsoft Bing, you're using a very similar underlying platform. When you're using Google Bard, you're using Google's version of that large language model. So one of the things that I always get asked about was, how did I get into this? And to begin with, all of your listeners should know that, like many of them, I'm actually in job search mode. So I'm actually a career global marketing guy. I've spent 25 years working for large multinationals, companies like Unilever and Avon and Coty. And here in Dallas, I came to work for Mary Kay for a number of years. And one of my roles in marketing was always to look ahead and try and understand what were some of the technology trends, what were some of the macro trends in society that were going to be shaping behaviors and the ways that companies needed to respond because we're going to interact very differently with their brands. And so ChatGPT was one of those trains that I could see coming down the track. And I knew that I really needed to learn as much about it as possible for my own survival. And as a leader, I knew it was going to change the way I was working. It was going to change the way my company was working. And very importantly, it was going to change the way my team and the people that were working underneath me were doing their day-to-day job. So I began using the tool, and I started from square one. I knew nothing, and began trying to seek out opportunities to find internet training. I found some good tools on sites like Udemy that are out there where you
Oh
can
yeah.
learn about things like prompt engineering. And slowly, through a lot of trial and error and testing, I started to learn what I needed to do, how I needed to change my behavior to get better information out of these chatbots. And then probably about 8 weeks ago, I was looking for resources on, gosh, how can I really utilize this tool in job search?
Right. Yeah.
And I was in a phone call with a gentleman here in DFW who runs an executive networking group. His name is Brian Steidiger. Some of your listeners will know
Oh yeah.
Brian.
Hey Brian, absolutely. It's a friend of mine.
And I said, Brian, is there anyone out there who is preaching the gospel of ChatGPT
Uh-huh.
that I can learn from? And Brian said, not that I'm really aware of, but why don't you tell
Yeah,
me
you're the man.
why don't you tell me what you're doing with it? And so I started to show him some of the creative applications that I was coming up with. And by the end of the phone call, he said, you need to come back next week and you need to share this with our group. And so that started the first presentation that I did on this, which was probably about 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Oh,
And
wow.
since then, I have done another 6 to 7 presentations for groups, not only here in DFW, but last Friday I was on a call with the Kettering Group in Atlanta,
In
Georgia,
Atlanta,
and
yeah.
I was sharing with them, and it's led now to things beyond job search. So the Public Relations Society of America has asked me to come in and do a presentation for their group at the end of June. So it's been one of those unexpected developments during my own job search journey.
Right.
And I've watched so many people in this community who've been paying it forward and sharing knowledge with people that are in the job seeking community. That's really what I wanted to do. And so thankfully and God willing, I'll be able to continue to do that over the coming weeks and months.
Right. And before we go to a commercial, we're almost up on time. And stick with us, Rusty, as you will hear music in a little bit. But I want to say and tell everybody, guys, if you go to friscoconnect.org, you can see Rusty's presentation that he did for us last month at Frisco Connect. It is riveting because there's a lot of things we're going to talk about today, but he actually does a presentation that you can see actual him doing stuff, you know, on that presentation. So I suggest you guys go to friscoconnect.org. Mez put it in the chat. And
Thank
I
you,
want to say
Mez.
hi because we got some folks in Hawaii that are listening to us. My buddy Chris Chun. I love my Chris. So she's a grandmother. So in Hawaii, they call him Tutu. So I call Chris Tutu. So my Tutu is with us on the phone, and she's got some folks out there, probably quite a few folks in Hawaii, believe it or not, that are listening to us right now. So, hey, Hawaii. All right. So stick with us, guys. We're going to talk more as we go. We're going to talk more with Rusty about ChatGPT. We're going to get into how we can use it, the portion that we can use that doesn't cost us money. And we're going to learn a little bit about the portion that we can pay for. And it's not very expensive, guys. I think Rusty told me it was like $20 a month or something like that. And some of the things that you guys are going to learn to do with ChatGPT is going to be awesome. And hey, Esmeralda Gerard, we'll get you when we come back. Let's go to commercial, you guys. We will see you guys in a few minutes.
See you in the second half.
Right.
Thanks for listening.
Drinking or doing too many drugs. Listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they've got you covered. Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they've got you covered.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Hello, Jobfather Nation. We are back for the second half of our Jobfather radio show. Rusty, just another reminder that Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live through TuneIn Radio Network. Tune in, so go to tuneinjoco.com to find all the different shows and different ways to watch the station's show. The app is also available for free on both Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store, check out the lineup and more at jococommunityradio.com. Now, hopefully the second half, we will get to hear a little bit more in depth from Rusty. Rusty, thank you again for joining us and helping us fight through any technical issues. Love to go ahead and where we left off in regards to ChatGPT, Bard, Bing, the competitors, the things that listeners can utilize these items for.
And guys, I want, before Rusty gets started, I want to encourage you guys. We have a lot of listeners today, and because this topic is a big one, guys, on YouTube, if you have questions, hey, type it into the chat. I want to say hi again to my buddy out in Virginia, Esmeralda Gerard. It's really Christina Gerard, but you guys can call her Esmeralda. She's a good friend of mine. Hey, Christina. And so, and of course, we're going from Virginia all the way out to Hawaii. So we got a pretty good radio coverage here.
Really good network. Good
now,
network.
You folks that are driving around in cars listening to us, y'all don't try to type into the you won't be able to type. I just had to throw that out there. So here's Rusty Wright. Wright's his last name. He's always right every day, 24/7. It's been years and years. It's been right. So y'all listen. Okay, Rusty, pick up where I kind of got into the functionality a little bit of how we can get to ChatGPT, what costs us and what doesn't.
Right. So let's talk about kind of the basics. So first of all, anyone on here can Google ChatGPT, and it's going to take them to the OpenAI website where they can sign up for the free version of ChatGPT. This is called ChatGPT 3.5. This is a piece of software that was introduced in late January or early February of this year. And what's important to know about this version is that it is basically a large language model that has been trained on billions and billions of words, articles that you'd find on the New York Times, encyclopedias, 40 different languages. It is trained on all of these words, but it's limited to information prior to September of 2021. So if you are trying to use it and hoping that it's going to provide you with information on something that happened last week, if you're using the free version, that's not something it's going to be able to do. And the system might try and guess, but that would be incorrect. You need to know that it's not going to give you, anything after that September 21 date. Now, if you upgrade to something called ChatGPT Plus, first of all, what that does is gives you a little bit of priority on their server. So your service and the response rate that you're getting from their server is going to be a little bit faster. But it also has a beta feature that you need to enable. So you need to go to the settings and you need to click on beta features. And that beta feature actually has web browsing. And so you can now use ChatGPT with a web browsing feature. And that allows you to do some very different things than you could do with the older version. And so one of the things that I was doing as a marketer and playing around with this week is, let's say I'm trying to improve a product that's out there. Well, I can now go to Amazon and I can give it links to the 3-star reviews of the product and the 4-star reviews of the product. And I can ask ChatGPT to go in and look at those reviews and find what are the most common issues that people are complaining about and suggest ways for me to improve that. Now, it might have been able to do something like that with the older version, but now that you've got this web browsing, you're able to do that. The other thing that is happening with GPT Plus is they've created these APIs for select partners, which allows ChatGPT to work with companies like Zillow and pull information directly off of their server to combine it with, with the language model. And so this is going to be something that's going to become a lot more common out there, where companies will work with these APIs and the chatbot will then interface with their data to give consumers more up-to-date information.
I think.
But do you know what? You don't have to have the paid version to be able to get some really cool things out of ChatGPT. In fact, I didn't have the paid version until fairly recently. So one of the things that's important to understand is we all need to get better at understanding how to create prompts. So for some of us, I want to take you back to a time before the internet and before there was anything like search. Like, we had AOL and but there was no such thing as search out there, and we all had to learn a little bit of how to do short tail search or long tail search or Boolean search to be able to get what we want out of web browsers like Chrome or Safari, etc. Well, it's the same thing with prompt engineering. It's important to understand how to do that. And that's one of the things that I instruct on when I'm doing my seminars is what is the proper way, because the better you are at giving the prompt, the AI model instruction and context, the better your answer is going to be. You can be really general, but you're probably going to get very general information out. But once you learn, how to set it in the right mind frame, give it the right context, the right parameters. It's almost like thinking about, having a brand new intern at your company. And this intern, they may be coming out of an Ivy League school and have a great education, and they're very eager to please you, but they don't know your company, they don't know your brand, they don't know how you like to present. So you need to give them the context to deliver. They know what this is, and that's what prompt engineering is. So
Hey, Rusty,
you mentioned earlier.
I see a good
Yeah,
question, and well, I've got it from about 4 people. Everybody's texting me right now. I love it. So, Mez, our hype lady for our show, you're the hype man for JPT Chat GPT right now, but she's our hype lady for the show. She's asking, is there a specific thing that you like to tell job seekers? Because we've got, oh, Lord knows how many job seekers are listening to us right now. Is there a application of that technology that you would suggest for job seekers?
sure. So there's a couple areas, and I'll talk about them in general. So the first phase is all of us at some point are researching the company that we are hoping to interview with, or maybe you've actually got the interview and you've got to prep for your first phone call with HR next week. There are prompts that you can learn to write that will help you do things like give you all the general information on the company, when it was founded, what their mission statement is, what their vision statement is, who their CEO is, approximate sales. So you can do things like that. The other one that I'd like to use is actually creating a SWOT document. Now,
Okay.
that acronym SWOT stands for Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. And so you can go to ChatGPT and ask it to create a SWOT on the company that you're going to be interviewing with, so that you can know kind of what they're good at, but also maybe are there challenges that you might be able to highlight in your conversation to understand how you can help them problem solve and move their business forward. So that's the research side of things. There's lots of cool things that I instruct on when I do my presentation, including building numbers and tables and looking at their sales history, etc. But they're not things you can really demonstrate on the radio here.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
one thing is thinking about correspondence. So everyone is talking about what a great writer ChatGPT is, and indeed, I have to say it's much better than I am naturally. But a couple of things that you can actually teach it to do is first of all, you can start to get it to write cover letters for you.
I was
And
going to ask
so
that. Yeah.
yeah, so I show a prompt in my seminar where I feed it the job description, and then I also feed it my resume, and I have it create a job, application letter essentially based on that. Now, there's a couple of important things to know is that, you need to tell it how long you want it to be. You need to tell it that it's going to be a professional cover letter so that it uses the right language when it's creating this for you. So it's important to, again, to go back to that prompt creation and make sure you're giving it the right input, the right examples so that you're getting the right output. But you also need to carefully check everything because this technology is far from perfect, right? And so an example is, I was applying for a job, and in the job description, it called for 10 years of experience, and I actually had 25 years of experience. Well, it defaulted to saying that I only had 10 years of experience. And so you really need to make sure that you're proofreading, checking for errors, and it's also an opportunity to personalize it and make it sort of sound like it's coming from your own voice. And this actually leads to a very important question that everybody is asking these days, which is, you know what, if everybody is using ChatGPT, aren't all these cover letters going to start sounding the same? And the answer is yes, but you can control that. So you have the ability in ChatGPT to tell it the style, the tone, the voice that you want it to write in. And so I do this example, with the groups that I'm speaking to, where I tell them, pull up the preamble to the Declaration of Independence, right? And so you see what Thomas Jefferson wrote and the language that he wrote it in. And then you ask ChatGPT to reword that in the voice, style, and tone of Barack Obama. And you will see the same content, but a very different voice. And then you know what? You can change it again and ask it to write it in the voice of Donald Trump. And you will be amazed. You will be amazed at at what the difference is.
Uh-huh.
But here's the cool thing is you can actually teach ChatGPT to write in your own voice. So
Right.
you need to feed it examples. You need to tell it to
Gotta
learn
help
your
it. That's
style.
right.
And so you can take an old cover letter, and actually the more data, the better that you give it, and give it something to learn about you and how you write. And it will analyze your style, and then you can tell it to go apply that style to an email, a cover letter, a social media post that you have out there.
Rusty,
So
is this
it's
all on the free version?
this is all on the free version. Yeah,
Wow, that's amazing.
absolutely. Yeah, you don't need to pay for any of this, especially on the writing side of things. So, if you're not having to search the internet to find something that happened last week or last month, you're probably going to find that the free version is a wonderful playground for you to go get started with things.
Yeah. And then once you pay, you can have up-to-date information and you know what direction you're going. You know how to drive the car.
Yeah,
And Rusty, I
yeah,
was going to mention to you as well, and having your head. I had a good friend of mine reached out to me, and what she did is she did exactly what you said. She had an initial cover letter created using ChatGPT, and then she sent it to me with those humans and those final touches on it. And I was really, really impressed with what ChatGPT did. And that was the first time I heard of it. So I told Foster today, I was so excited to hear you were going to be on the show because honestly, this is pretty new for a lot of us, especially those of us that have been in business for a while. As we know, technology rapidly changes, right, Foster? And so, this is cool, something really neat. I want to thank you for explaining how to get ChatGPT to respond to your smarter based on whether it's your voice or this voice and how to teach it to learn you more effectively. I think that's really important for our listeners.
Everybody hadn't
yeah.
been Rusty. Everybody hadn't been recruiting as long as Dana and I have. They may not have the knowledge of how to put business principles and things together. So what
Yeah.
I'm seeing in the future is a better explanation of some of these jobs that we're being asked to recruit for. So you can recruit for something a lot better, and you can talk to the people that you'll be able to present to the hiring manager in a much more efficient fashion if you really understand the details of what they're trying to do. And I think ChatGPT is going to be able to help us do that in the future. And I am going to buy the $20 version because I want to know the latest stuff. Because stuff stops at. Did you say September of 2021 was when the information stopped, Rusty?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
So you recruiters are listening. There are a number of companies that listen to this show every week. You recruiters at those companies, guys, let's discuss some of this thing. Dana, I, other leaders, Mez, all of us in the network, we have things like Frisco Connect where we can attach some of these things to some of our presentations. Rusty last month did this very presentation of this very software we're talking about right now. So there are many ways that we can get the proper information out. And since we are a network and most of the companies, most of the recruiters that are listening to us right now are an active part of the CSN, I think we got something now, guys, we can use and we can learn. We can learn how to use ChatGPT. And you know what, Rusty? You are going to be our subject matter expert.
Yes, our SME. Rusty, you should put on you know what, Foster would be a great idea. I'm just brainstorming here. I think it'd be really cool for Rusty to utilize that presentation and run some examples for us. And we could do in one of our network meetings via Zoom or whatever platform we use, and have them do a presentation via Zoom for all that want to learn how to use it a little bit better.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it would be my pleasure. That's been the format that I've been doing this for the last 6 or 7 weeks, and so I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, Rusty, you're growing with it. And Rusty and I were talking a little bit this morning before the show. We were talking about the growth of ChatGPT. Each day, some new things being added. You've got Bing and you've got the other platform, Google's got their thing now, and they're all
Mm-hmm.
going to be competing. So everybody is going to be trying to figure out what's the best step that I can do. Is there another market that I can serve? All of that stuff to
Yes.
make my product better. That's just business, you guys. So I tell you, the dynamic that runs all of that will drive ChatGPT to be a platform that will be very, very used in the near future.
Absolutely. Well, Rusty, share a little bit
Absolutely.
more.
And
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rusty.
hey, what's going to happen in the next 12 months is going to be further transformative, because when you watch the keynotes that are coming out from Google and from Microsoft these days, all of this technology is being integrated into their other platforms. So, if you're a finance person and you're working in Excel, 8 hours a day, that's going to change in the future, because it's going to be integrated into the Microsoft Office platform. And instead of going in and having to create things from scratch, you're going to be able to say, create me a discounted cash flow or create me a P&L. And when it's integrated with your company's internal data, it's also going to be able to go out and mine and pull that data and auto-populate a lot of those fields that are out there. So it's going to be in Word, it's going to be in PowerPoint, it's going to be in Excel, and Google's doing the same thing with all of their platforms. And so what you're getting back from ChatGPT today, which is basically you put text in and you get text back, that's going to change as well. You're going to start getting images, you're going to start getting maps. You're going to see not only text to text, but text to video, text to pictures, pictures to text. So this whole area is just going to continue to kind of explode and get integrated into all of these different parts of our life.
Well,
I see Marcel's joined us. Marcel might have a question. Marcel, do you have a question about all this stuff we're talking about? Uh-oh, your mouth's moving, but you're muted.
Hey, Rusty, why don't you
Yeah.
share a little bit about what you're looking for in your job search and how we might be able to help you?
Sure. Well, thank you very much. So, I mentioned earlier that I'm a global marketing guy. I started my career in New York. I spent about 10 years overseas. I lived in Asia and Singapore, and then in Switzerland for 8 years, and then came back here to Texas back in 2011. And I've always worked in a global marketing function, mostly for large companies, but most recently I worked for a small cap company here in the DFW area. I tend to focus on the front end side of marketing, so finding that white space opportunity with consumers and helping to develop consumer products for that company. Most of my experience has been in the beauty industry. So you heard, companies like Avon and Mary Kay, Coty, which is one of the world's biggest beauty companies out there as well. So that's part of my background. But most recently, I actually worked in the durables category for a company that made very high-end cookware. So I don't limit myself to just the beauty industry, but that is definitely my forte.
Wonderful. Rusty, I know that any organization that has the opportunity to work with you will be successful, will be blessed. Your background is incredible, and I want to thank you for being our SME on.
Absolutely.
How can our listeners get a hold of you if they have any questions, or how might I get a hold of you if I have any questions?
I think Mez put my LinkedIn address in the chat earlier, so please feel free to reach out to me that way. You can also find my website, www.russellswright.com, and that will also be another way to you can learn more about my background, and you connect with me on LinkedIn that way as well. And I'm happy to answer your ChatGPT questions. I'm happy to help you network with any of my network connections that are out there. And I'm always looking to, grow my network and relationships, as Foster
There you go.
would say.
There it is. There it is.
Awesome. I wrote it down. Are we able to hear Marcel?
There's Marcel. I hear him laughing. So
Hey,
he's mic'd up with
Marcel.
us.
Foster, what was your question again for Marcel?
We had Marcel on the show a long time ago. He was our job seeker on the show, but he got a job. So hey, that ought to tell you guys something that are listening. So I just was asking Marcel if he had any questions. Marcel, are you familiar with? Have you heard about this Chat GPT?
No, I haven't, and I'm very excited to listen to him talk
Uh-huh.
because I'm doing a lot of writing, as some would say.
Okay. Oh man. So, Marcel, if you would tell Rusty, and of course we're running out of time. We've only got about 4 minutes, but tell Rusty real quick what it is that you do, because now you guys can connect. And if you're writing, he could probably give you some awesome ideas about things that you're writing on, content, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right now I'm still at PCI DFW Valet here at the airport doing safety and training. And so we always need ideas of how to get SOPs put together with other different processes.
Fantastic. Well, one of the great things about ChatGPT is that it's fantastic for organizing your ideas at a 25,000 foot level and then being able to drill down from there. And an example that I used with Foster at a recent Frisco Connect presentation is how I use it for approaching a Bible study. And so, for instance, I create a prompt that says, ChatGPT, I'm going to be teaching a Bible study class that's going to have 8 segments to it. Each segment's going to be 45 minutes long. I want to speak about the chapter of John, what makes it unique to all the other gospels out there, what its authorship is. And ChatGPT then starts by giving me that 25,000 foot view, right? I get it broken down into 8 different sections. But from there, then I can go and I can drill down and I can say, now give me a course plan for session number 1. And it's going to go in and give me a lot more information about that section, which I can then use to teach and instruct. It'll talk about how to facilitate the group, what are good discussion topics, what is some of the scripture that I should be quoting out there. And so for anyone who is a teacher or an instructor out there, it's a great tool to kind of start high and then drill down very low.
Yes, sir.
I like the way how we can go and we can use this product to give us a good overview of things, but then it's going to be really important, as Rusty said, guys, for us to teach or go in and edit what you have so that we can add in some of our personal experiences, and so it'll sound a little bit more like us and not like ChatGPT, because there are some people out there like Rusty who can probably, I don't know if you can just solidly say, oh, this is a ChatGPT generated document, but it might, as we go, it might be something that we start to wonder. I wonder if Rusty wrote this, or I wonder if this is a ChatGPT. Guys, we can always supplement. We can always put our own personality and our own words into everything. And that's what I like about what Rusty's saying about ChatGPT. Guys, we got to learn to use it. That is our music. We're on our way out.
Yeah, we are. Foster,
thank you, Rusty.
Time.
Thank you,
so
Marcel.
much, Jobfather Nation, for jumping in and joining us today. Thank you, Rusty. Thank you, everybody.
Joco Community Radio. Attention all business owners and creative minds. Do you need a unique and personalized touch for your products? Look no further